is a compound adjective, and would you be able to complete 8 of them if I give you the definition? Let's try together. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Maiora. Today we're going to talk about a topic that you don't find very often on the internet, on YouTube, also in books, but actually it is something that you use every day. You find a lot when you talk to people, when you read stuff, and so we have to know that they exist, the compound adjectives. What is a compound adjective? A compound adjective, a compound word in general, is made up of multiple individual words. Okay, so it is a word, an adjective in this case, made up, formed by many, or in this case just 2 individual words, words that exist, okay, independently, and they have their own life and they mean something, but when you put them together, the result, okay, of putting them together creates a new meaning, creates a new, completely new word. Usually those 2 words, they can be nouns, they can be verbs, usually in form or past participle. You may find also prepositions and so on and so forth. So there is a huge variety of them, and they are usually connected. The first and the second word are usually connected by a hyphen. That's not, I know that you will find them also as 2 separate words sometimes. You may find them written, all together sometimes. I know it happens, but the rule should be, okay, that they're actually separated or connected. It depends on the perspective by a hyphen. Now, I got 8 of them here. And my test today, my little game with you is, okay, I tell you the first part of this compound adjective and the meaning of the adjective, and you can try and understand and somehow guess the second word. Sometimes it's easy, the first one is super easy, I'm sure that anyone knows that, but some of them are not so easy. So let's see if you can understand them and you can use them actively, or because most of the times these compound verbs or compound words in general, as I said before, the meaning is created by the combination of 2 or sometimes more words, and so sometimes when you read them you can kind of understand the meaning, okay? The problem is that when you have to use them, you don't know how to form them. So the point here is to understand, if I give you the definition in the first part, you can actually and actively create them. That means that you own the vocabulary, that you own that piece of vocabulary language, okay? But if you can only recognize that passively, it means that you don't really master this part, okay, of vocabulary, and you're just giving it or taking it for granted somehow. So let's start with the first one. I'm sure that all of you will answer in a heartbeat because it's super easy. The meaning is resistant to water. This is something, or to water if you prefer. It's something that you find when you buy a jacket or shoes or a tent or whatever. Resistant to water, so it is waterproof. Okay, we all know that. This is just a way to somehow to start, okay, and to understand what we're talking about. This is an F. Okay, water is water, obviously. Proof, we know what it means. Together, okay, it means that thing is resistant to water. So it's very, very intuitive and it's very simple. Let's go on and see the second one. The second one means that something is revelatory. So it is something that is educational somehow. It is something that can raise your awareness about something that maybe you didn't consider before, and then, I don't know, you got a piece of information, or you read a book, or you saw a movie, a documentary, or you talked with someone, and suddenly you have a new awareness, and suddenly you understand more, and suddenly you are surprised, but at the same time you're aware of something, okay? So the first part is quite easy. The noun is I, okay? And the second part is a verb. So if you discover something new, maybe, and that something new makes you think or feel in a different way towards something, it means that that thing opened your eyes. So the adjective here is eye-opening. As you may see here, we have an ing form, so a gerund, because it means something that opens your eyes. So this is the meaning of it. There is also another version that is the noun eye-opener. Something like, I don't know, this book was an eye-opener. It was something that opened my eyes, my mind too. So it exists in the adjective version and also the noun version eventually. Eye-opening, so gerund form and a noun before that. Do you know that? I'm sure if you find it, if you read it, I'm 100% sure that you recognize that. And I'm 100% sure that you can translate into your own language or understand the meaning of it. But when you have to say that, probably doesn't come to your mind. Then, the other one here is also vocabulary. I mean, I'm 100% sure that if you find it, you know what it means. But if you have to use that word, maybe it doesn't pop up immediately. It doesn't strike you immediately. Because the definition is, okay, it's something that is used to describe those, people who prefer to use the left hand instead of the right hand. And so the adjective is left-handed. This is very, very easy, okay? And here I'm using the noun hand, and I'm changing it into a sort of a past participle. Of course, it's something we can do with nouns, but this is the idea in order to create a sort of an adjective, okay? So someone who uses the left hand instead of the right hand. So this is something you absolutely recognize when you see that. Are you sure that you could use it on your own if you had to? And then, number 4. We're talking about something appetizing, something that we really want to eat. And when we are waiting for, or we're expecting, or there is something very appetizing and we're about to eat it, there is something that happens in our mouth. What is it? We get a very special feeling and sensation. Mouth is mouth, of course. And the second part refers to that specific situation, mouth watering. And that's exactly because when you find something appetizing, you want to eat it, you feel that water in your mouth. Okay, so mouth watering. Again, a verb here, ing form, gerund. Also in this case, if you find mouth watering, I'm sure you recognize that. But would you use it to say that something is appetizing? Well, they use it a lot. This is a bit more difficult. Let's try and see it together. I'm talking about something that means it is desirable or desired, which is not the same, by the way. One thing is being desirable, another thing is being desired. That's not the same. Something that you, the people, want and look for. They seek. Why am I saying seek? Because this word here, sought, is the past form of seek. And so in the second part you just have to add the preposition. Because when you wish something, or we wish to have something, or you desire something, you go after that something. So sought after is my compound adjective, sought after. The first part is the past participle of seek, and the second part is the preposition. Okay, this wasn't easy. Okay, that wasn't easy. Even if you read it, it's not very immediate. Now let's go on to number 6. Number 6 starts with the word we have already seen in some shape or form here. Okay, watered. This is not this form here, because water is the noun. In this case, it is the past participle of the verb to water. Okay, to water, when I water the plants, for example. So I pour water into my plants. This is something I always forget to do. Anyway, the final result, the final meaning of the word, or the two parts combined, should be diluted. Diluted, which means that I've got, I don't know, a drink, for example, or anything liquid, and I have some water, and I pour my water into that liquid. Okay, so I add water. So, in this case, the first part is the past participle of the verb to water, and it's pretty much the same structure here. Okay, we got the past participle of a verb here, and the second part is there. It's sort of it's a preposition. Which preposition would you put here? So let's guess together. It is watered. Of course, I pour something. So in what direction does it go? Down. So it's watered down. Okay. And again, number 7. Number 7 is quite interesting because there are similar forms. This is the most interesting as far as the meaning is concerned. In fact, I use it when I talk about someone who is intolerant, who is prejudiced, opinionated, conceited, bigoted, maybe, conservatory, reactionary even, or I don't know, yeah, smug, as I said, someone who is whose opinions are ruled and are determined by prejudices and are usually old-fashioned. So, in this case, I'm talking about their mentality. That is obviously narrow. Okay, it is narrow. It's not wide, it's not open, it is absolutely narrow. Of course, I can say a narrow mentality or something like that, but I still refer to their mind, and I can say narrow-minded. Minded. This here is pretty much the same that happened with hand here, when I use a noun, in this case mind or hand, and I put ed at the end, and I create a sort of a fake past participle. This is not, I'm saying this just for your, because it's easier for you maybe to get the concept, because in this way I create a sort of an adjective. That's the idea. Narrow-minded, I'm sorry, this is a D, obviously, as I said, means prejudice, intolerant, and this and that. There are similar vocabularies like open-minded. Open-minded is the contrary. Okay, open-minded is a person that is very open and has no prejudices, and the opposite is close-minded. Narrow-minded is quite in the middle, so it's a bit more interesting. Okay, that's a different nuance, we can say. It's a sort of a shade of gray in there. So open-minded is white, closed-minded is black, and this is sort of a shade of gray. So it's a bit more interesting as far as vocabulary is concerned. Now, number 8. Number 8 is used to when we describe someone who has a keen sight, they say here, but also who is observant. So I'm not just talking about someone who can see and perfectly, okay, as well as an eagle, but also it can be also figurative if I talk about someone who is able to see things, to understand things. So there are two different meanings. One is absolutely real, physical, and the other one is more figurative and more metaphorical. Sharp, you know, usually when we say sharp, we talk about a knife or something that has a sharp edge. The second part here refers to the very part of our body that allows us to see and watch things, and we see that it is kind of a recurring word. Sharp-eyed means that you can see very well, okay, but also you're a very observant person. And also in this case, eyed, minded, handed, you can see that there are nouns, and I add ed at the end, and I create a sort of an adjective. So these are my 8 compound adjectives for today, but if you want to see more, just let me know, because I know that these are a bit tricky when we find them. Apart from a few of them, this is, I mean, it's something that we can quite easily guess, but and obviously I'm talking, but quite obviously this is a video for non-native speakers, and you know, when you find something and can recognize or translate something into our language in a very easy way, we kind of take it for granted. We have 1,000 different words to learn by heart, and so if there is something that we can just guess or understand, we're just like, okay, this is easy. But the point is that when I have to use those words, I realize that I haven't learned them, and that's a pity, because they, first of all, they're very useful vocabulary, I mean, words, and they're very, very common. Okay, they're very popular. So, I hope it was useful for you. Thank you so very much for following, and please subscribe if you haven't yet, and share and like. And if you think that my work is valuable somehow, not only when I talk about, well, okay, in this case, the English language, but also literature or German or whatever, there is so much on this channel, and I really, really care for this activity and you, for my audience. So if you want to help a bit and you want to click on the button here below, that one with the heart, you can give a little donation using PayPal, and it's very easy. There's also a PayPal button on the homepage of the channel, and you can just leave me a very tiny donation, but it means the world, because it's just, as I always say, it's just like receiving a flower, and that flower means what you're doing is worth, what you're doing is appreciated, and that's an incredible gift to me, for me, and so thank you so very much to all of you who have already done that. Thank you so much, you're really in my heart, and thank you to all of you who consider doing that. Thank you again, and all right, stay tuned, okay, stay tuned, because we are going to talk about English again, German, literature, and whatever you want. I'm here for you, so see you very soon again, and take care.